I don't. But anyway, it's okay.
All the paperwork is down here. You should have two sheets, last month's minutes and the financial statements on the back of the agenda.
All right.
All right,
Here we
7
go.
o'clock, recording
these are
in
two.
progress. Do we have a moderator?
It's possible you guys could just skip that
Say what?
step and just.
Really?
Oops. Okay. Are we all set?
You are called to order.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Corrections to an approval of past minutes meeting of June 3rd.
I didn't spot anything when I went over it, so if no one else did, I will
Make a motion.
motion to approve the minutes.
I'll
I'll
second.
second that.
Lucille beat you to it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to correspondence.
I have a letter, just a thank you letter from Teague for the $5,233 from the turkey trot proceeds. And there was something on my email today telling me that we have to do a selectmen's update by today.
Oh.
So I wrote to, I'm not gonna put anything in except like a save the date for the trot unless something comes up tonight that we want.
Yeah, Beth asked me if I wanted anything in her update, but I said, pretty sure you have to do your update then, and you would be talking about the turkey trot in there, at least.
Well, I wasn't gonna do a lot. If you want to have something lengthy, but I was just gonna do a save the date because it's August and that's November. Nobody's gonna remember. Okay,
Okay,
so that's correspondence.
finances.
So you have on the back of your agenda, the updated financial picture. And basically, it looks like what we've done is we're pretty much even. What we spent on the bike repair is what we made on the, and our Porta-John support and,
But this report still does not include the turkey trot
yes,
proceeds.
it
nor the
does,
last
that's at the
one.
top,
Where?
very top.
Oh, at the very top. Okay,
So we're
'cause I'm
pretty
looking
much,
down here.
we pretty
Okay.
much this year spent our turkey trot proceeds.
But that's all right.
Already?
Yeah, so we're about, still around $10,569.93.
You mean I gotta do this again?
Until you get it right. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so we have a total of $10,000 and five,
$169.93.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's one line item up at the top where somebody never cashed their turkey trot refund check in case anybody's interested in what that $15 is. So they canceled, they went through with all prior year checks and, cleared their books. Okay. So that's what that is.
Question, you refresh my memory what this SC design engineering thing is for $1,400.
That was the overrun on the grant.
We had
To
voted-
J and D.
We
Yeah.
had voted to pay the out of ours to cover the overrun so that the
Oh,
town wasn't paying extra.
okay, on to citizens' comments.
You do have a citizen in the Zoom room, if Valerie would like to comment.
There we are. Okay. Trail updates, Airline State Park Trail.
Well, as you guys know, I was off on vacation last week, so if anything happened last week, I don't know about it. But we did, I believe since the June meeting, sign the contract with the construction firm that's gonna do the work at the train wreck site in the park and the parking area. And what we agreed to, we initially were gonna have them start in July, but what we agreed to at the time, the contractor and I, was that they would start doing the site work, the prep, the clearing, whatever, in early November. And then obviously go on a winter hiatus as soon as the weather forces them to, and then they'll come back in the spring and do the actual turntable construction, parking area construction.
Wow.
Okay, so I was gonna ask, because if we were gonna put anything in the update, there's no parking lot closures this summer or anything to worry about.
There are not,
Okay.
now in the agreement that we sign with them, they have to leave a certain number of spaces open at all times, even when they're doing work, but I'm sure that that's still gonna impact people even wanting to park there while they're working.
All right, but we don't have
Shouldn't
to
be
give any
spring.
public notice at this point about changes, so.
Right.
I can
And
put something in the Facebook page, just that.
At that point.
at that point,
Well,
yeah.
I'll just say that some work will be done at the site, but it shouldn't interrupt use of the area, in preparation of.
Some point,
Improvements.
share it to the airline, Trail State Park page too.
Mhm.
What's the name of the company?
B&W Paving, they've done some work for Putnam.
Did you say B as in boy?
B.
Mhm.
B&W Paving and Landscaping.
Um,
And the two bike repair stations have been received. DPW has them.
Okay.
Obviously, one of those is connected to the grant project, but the other one is not. And I guess you guys can decide at whatever point you like who, where, how that's going in. I mean, it's always been discussed that it would be the Mechanicsville, which I think makes perfect sense. The question is, how do we want to pursue that? We've never really talked about that, and my focus has been on the East Thompson site.
does it say how to put it in? Like, is there instructions in the?
It's got specs with it, and it's nothing particularly complicated.
We like that.
How big?
John,
Submit.
I reposted YouTube on Facebook in the last few days. Installation with a concrete pad. And the unit looked identical to what we're ordering, or close enough. But it's a simple thing. They just dig a frame up a thing and fill it with concrete and put the post in. All while it's doing it. So it's a
Oh, I
simple
can-
process.
I'll reach out to Joe and ask if there's any kind of, anything with the.
Yeah, so then
So
the other
rather
thing
than-
is because it's not directly connected to the existing grant project, and the airline trail doesn't belong to us just before anybody does anything
We have to check with.
deep, yes.
Okay.
And I'm sure the answer will be knock yourselves out, do whatever you want, but it still needs to go through them first.
Okay.
Don't move on from that, I'm sorry. So the airline Trail State Park, Paul and I we did some mowing. I don't remember one now, it's probably a month ago, it was 2 weeks ago, I don't even
Probably
remember.
2-3 weeks ago.
But the bridge that's by
193.
193, there's a whole railing that's still knocked out. And again, I was kind of told not to do it, that we would let them know, DEP, and. I mean, it's not a hard fix, Paul and I looked at it.
The safety issue right now, you got a bridge where it just open, somebody can drive right off the side of it.
Sweet.
It's been that way since the last meeting. I had said that it was broken. And I don't know how it got broke because there's not a tree down or anything. It's,
It's
but
any
it's
number of ways.
broken, yeah. I mean, it's probably $100 repair. That's
So
off the top of my
I
head,
guess
but-
the thing to do there is take the picture, send it to me, and I'll push it up to DEEP. It's possible that just because somebody will recognize my name over there, that it'll result in something. But, I mean, they still need to be informed of anything that's gonna happen. And again, if the answer is
Yeah.
knock yourselves out, go ahead and fix it, that's fine, but
So do we go right to the head of DEP or do we go through Matt Quinn? Because this is his state park.
that's a good question. I,
CC both.
yeah, and I'm not even sure. I mean, I deal with Kim Bradley, but again, that's like the recreational trails grant program. I'm not sure if that's the person who's right above Matt. It might take a little.
But who was at that big meeting in 10 Town that said? Of course, everything, it was Kim Bradley, right? Everything has
Kim
to
was there.
go through, but she's the one that got up there and said, you can't do anything to the trail unless you talk to us.
Yeah, so,
So both.
so I would say, yeah, then make it Matt and Kim.
Thought I had pictures, I don't, we didn't take any pictures of it that day, because I had pictures of the truck in the parking lot. Remember he pulled in and he was sticking in the road? The big red truck? No, it was somebody from town, we
Oh, yeah,
was the
yeah,
town,
yeah.
but he was walking his dog, and I said, can I take a picture of your truck, because the parking lot,
San Daniel.
yeah, isn't big enough for a car to pull into that parking lot, which we've talked about many times before.
And I've, on the drainage and erosion, I've had a couple of emails from Scott Bushy. The last one said he was talking to Amy about going out and finding the problem, but they want a dry time to do it.
We're in a drought right now, except. for
Except for this week is
So
gonna be
he
miserable.
keeps saying, I've got a couple of updates saying, we're gonna get there, so.
Okay. I will take pictures of that anyways, and I will send them to you, so, might take a couple days, I'm real busy this week, but hopefully I don't forget.
I'm still getting caught up on emails from being out last week, so don't hurry on my account, but as soon as I get them from you, I will push them up.
It's easy though, because you can park on the road, just walk down. It's quick, I just gotta get there, that's all.
Anything more on the drainage and erosion issues?
No, I think we need to plan another day, but it's just, I've been super crazy and mowing kind of takes precedence over that now, only because we haven't even mowed to the end yet. We only mowed to past Old Dave Sunset Road.
Yeah.
We mowed to there, both sides up and back. And we went up into Mass, to the Mass line.
And back.
So we've done that, but we didn't get any further past there. Again, I don't know, well, we're not on that part, but. Maintenance, or,
We'll talk about that in minutes.
okay, so we'll talk about that maintenance.
I have a comment about that. Karen and I met with some people from NECOG and I raised those questions about availability of equipment that's heavy duty, that's owned by the state or operated out of a budget that's overseen by NECOG. And that was new ideas to them. So we should push that a little bit further as we move along. The real solution to those problems, we know it's bigger than what we can handle, and we need DOT in there to take responsibility for it. Somehow that doesn't seem how it's been structured. I've read other reports where DEEP is the one that's doing the engineering on storm drains. And that doesn't make any sense based on who's responsible for the roadway. But that's something that certainly will need to be pushed forward with the 12-town task force, with NECOG and the town of Thompson and our Trails Committee. Because he told us, Jim Larkin said, yes, they do have funding, but it's kind of uniquely structured. So we'll have to look at that and see what the options are. Last note on Trainwreck Park, the porta-john has been repaired where somebody had started a fire. The panel has been replaced. So at least it's secure from that point of view.
Now that he brought that up, are we gonna have, well, it's not till the spring, but are we gonna have to move that so that they can do the construction?
Probably, but not until November.
Next, well, not till spring, because they're only gonna do some,
I'm sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna have to be moved in some way. Yeah.
And some of the signs that are there, all that's gonna, and the kiosk, all that stuff's gonna have to be moved.
yeah.
if we're smart, well, part of their prep work is gonna be where's the porta john gonna go? And that, we all know that's part of the rail siding that is to the north of the right of way. So if they just clear that area out and it's leveled in that spot, we park it there and it's done.
I think they had a spot on that.
Yeah,
the
Jan,
plan.
I'm sure they
Janet
do.
definitely showed
Yeah.
that on the, on her site plan.
I mean, if, I don't remember the site plan, but is it further in to the trail? instead of just
Then
on
where
the
it is,
road?
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Because when I sit there doing the counter, I see people that are not hiking, stopping to use the
Well,
porta john, you know,
and it's-
it's like.
It's a
Gotta
a
go.
public sanitary facility. What are you gonna
right.
do? We don't,
What the options might be.
we don't give tickets out for it, you know?
I'm just saying, if it's moving for sure.
Did you enjoy using this? Scripture?
Please.
Contribute
Yeah.
because it's great. Scan this
I like
QR
that.
code, right, Carol?
Oh, my God. Are we on to the Last Green Valley assessment signage?
Well, I haven't heard any more.
It's in.
It's in?
Yeah,
We've seen it.
Okay, I was gonna. ask
I
that,
posted
haven't
pictures
seen-
on the trails page. I figured you would look at trails page.
They're all in.
She's not on social media.
I assume they're all in.
Yeah, I just did the one with Little Davis, but I assume they were all done.
Okay.
On ours, they put one on the kiosk and they planted a 4x4 for the other one. But they
We
actually
actually-
aren't using the gates, they're
And
using.
it's interesting.
We actually looked
They,
because,
they moved them like, they're probably like 10 feet away from the gate.
Mhm.
That's so you can open the gate without.
yeah, we measured it and it just, the gate just cleared
Everyone-
it so that it doesn't get in the way. It was good planning.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so we're on to the train wreck park, parking area and turntable site status. You already gave that.
Mhm.
Bike repair station, so that's all done.
Yeah, well, it's in a holding pattern for now
No,
anyway,
but I
yeah,
meant,
yeah.
You know, at least we discussed it so that, you know, can move on.
Yeah, and technically I haven't closed the first grant, the $16,000 yet, but I did let Kim know when I sent in my last quarter report that all the activity on the first grant is done. That matters to nobody but me, really, but yes, the first grant should be closed soon, I would imagine.
And maintenance work days?
So you got maintenance down twice, so I don't know where we should talk about.
Well, I don't know either. I see it.
Right now.
I'm
Well,
going right down
maintenance is
the,
the
I'm
trail.
going right down the
The other
list.
stuff is maintenance of the equipment. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay, one's maintaining trail, one's maintaining
The stuff
the
is
stuff after we
vacated.
made, we did. that.
Well, it kind of ties in with both, because I don't know, we have to talk about, because we had some problems with the mower
Yeah,
that,
everything's all set, ready to go.
Is it?
Yeah,
That was the last
Yeah,
repair,
yeah.
okay.
So.
You
what
can
we
never
did-
leave this committee. You need
uh,
to.
So the mower, we have issues with the mower that we keep wrecking the cable, electrical cable that goes from the inside to
Mhm.
the outside.
you don't have to say.
Almost every, no, we know. The problem with that is.
The
it's front and back.
collectively,
As long as you're driving, you know, things are whacking it the whole time and it rips off, then you can't run. So, what I did is I fixed that issue. Now there's no cable and it's a wireless.
I was gonna say, do you do something wireless, Wi-Fi? I could see you coming up with something like that.
Bluetooth.
You did, cool.
And.
Have you installed Apple CarPlay on the?
And we also put on an override switch so that if everything fails, you can actually turn the thing on the blade. But so it just, a lot of times we're halfway down a trail and the thing dies and then we can't use it. So this, if something happens, you can override. So we fixed that. There was an issue with the chainsaw. So I buy a new tensioner for that blade.
Hmm.
It was all bent and screwed up, so I did that. The
Can't do that too?
Because I'm the only one who.
You're the one
does it.
who-
So,
when it was sitting in my garage, I could smell gas one day. And what happened is the gas tank on the mower. It's got a little rubber thing where it goes into the tank and it was ripped. and it was slowly leaking gas, so I had to replace that.
Oh,
Um,
we will say, we've talked to Paul and I talked about that mower, like that was a very good purchase for us, but it does take a beating when you're mowing, like it really, all that stuff hits it and it's cutting and stuff, but it's just still.
Yeah,
So,
Still not
it
really
needs maintenance.
commercial grade, it's,
Well, I would
It
say it
is,
is,
but
we're
it's
cutting
not.
7 miles of trail,
yeah, but it's
Like,
not like
well,
what the town
14
uses
up
with
and
that
back,
big thing, yeah.
but I'm sure they do a lot of maintenance that we don't know about on there.
there was a bunch of other things. There's probably half a dozen things that I had. We had to fix.
I have a comment about mowing. I posted it on Facebook because departments of transportation have recognized if they plant native flowers, they don't have to mow. And the article made a lot of sense to me. The one spot where John and I went and looked at, where there's a clogged inlet at the, I don't know what the name of the stream is. It comes down off under 395. But that area, we want to get rid of invasive plants, and maybe if we planted some native flowers, it would look pretty and it would save maintenance in the long run. So I've gotten some information about native plant seeds and flower seeds, and you know, if anybody's interested, we should be including that on a work day.
Well,
Pretty
getting
much.
rid of the invasives is probably
Yeah.
a lot more work than you think.
Yeah,
And we did talk about that last meeting, and I did get in contact with, I forget his name.
Greg Corso.
Greg, and we were supposed to meet up there and go, and it just,
Oh, it
I've been
didn't
too
happen?
busy and we
I know
haven't.
you're explaining that.
Yeah, I
did-
realize that. Plus,
So-
though, we can
but-
get $500 from the last Green Valley as part of a cleanup to, you know, encourage us along.
So that was part of the discussion, Charlie, and just to talk to that guy to see what he knows, and he does know stuff about invasives, and to come up with a work plan is, I think, what you said. to-
Well, I think it was
how
more
we
like
would-
the budget, right? Because
Right.
if you're applying for a $500 grant,
you spend
even
it.
though Lyanne is sitting right here and knows what your intent is, that application still has to present credibly what it is you're gonna use those funds for, so you
Yes.
should know what you're up to. And Greg is a great resource for that, and $500 does not go as far as you think it will.
And you only got about 5 weeks to use it, because work's gonna be done before the end of the fiscal year.
Well, that's a motivator.
Yes, September 30.
So him and I have been in contact, and I was supposed to, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dropped the ball on it, because right after the last meeting, we went back and forth on social media, and I was supposed to contact him and we'd meet up there, and it just kind of slipped.
So let's see, John damages the mower, the chainsaw, drops the ball on the meeting.
I also bought some 10-inch blades for the trimmer. I bought a package of those. There's different pitch on the teeth. I want to talk, or when we get to maintenance, I want to talk.
So I would do it now, you talk about it now, because I already know what you're gonna talk
So,
about.
previously we ordered another head for the trimmer.
The echo head, we have to clean it up.
So now John and I went out, and he's got a nice blade, he can cut all the brush, and the other one just had a weed whacker thing that, you know, it can't.
It's good for grass.
Just rots out it. I would like to order another, the attachment for another blade when we both go out and we can cut. It's about $110 or something like that.
I make a motion that we approve that.
all right,
That was easy.
I mean, it's, unless you go down to Carl's and
We'll go
order.
down Carlson.
I don't know the name of the specific blade that you need.
No, it's not a blade, it's an attachment,
Yeah.
it's for the blade. The
So
one we,
the
the one
weed
that
whacker
came,
works awesome when you're doing just like grass and tall grass, whatever, and that's fine, but a lot of the stuff on the side of the
Yeah,
trail
most
is
of the
thick
stuff
stuff and then
is-
small brush. And that blade will cut through something that's like 1.5 inches easily, probably. And so it's just, Paul and I noticed when we were working, like one of us is being able to cut when we stop to cut like that, but then the other person, the
Just
weed whacker
saying,
doesn't do much. So since we have 2 heads, I think it's a worthy investment. Along with Paul.
if you want, I can get it.
I'll second.
I'll
All in favor?
Do we need a motion for that?
Sure.
Apparently made them.
I got a
Do
second.
we need an amount, or do we, I think it's probably more than 110. I don't
Yeah,
know.
online only.
Then
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
probably
So I would say maybe up to 150, make it,
Okay.
just to make sure we have enough.
It may even be more than that. I don't know why.
Well, up to 200.
I don't, it's not gonna be a lot over 130 or 150, so, it's just
Oh, yes.
approve that we get
We're
it.
just doing it for 200 and that'll be good.
Yeah, he's right. Those blades are, I've only seen them in films. I haven't used one, but they'll cut through the 1.5 and they'll cut through the little stuff too.
Were those horror movies you were watching?
I'll do it.
So, that classic.
And there's one other thing that I would like to warn, and that is on the mower deck, we got a gas tank, holds 2.5 gallons. It gets us one way, we gotta stop and fill it up, and then it goes up. You can actually put 2 of those gas tanks on there, right next to each other. So I would like
This
to
is on the
on
mower
the mower.
itself? Okay.
So I would like to order another gas tank from them and the attachments and everything, and that was like maybe $120 for that. All said and done.
So
Yeah, we bought that,
Runnings.
yeah, so do you have to
No,
go
no,
back?
I
to
can
the-
order
you Get
it
it
from
from
company.
Carl, or from the company?
Yeah,
direct?
Carl
doesn't sell
I'll order
those.
online and it'll come in, Amazon, UPS.
So how much did you say it was?
I think it's like $120.
So I'll make a motion that we spend $130 to buy another gas tank
It's
for
gonna take
the
some of my,
mower.
some work to put it in, but it'll save us.
And it's safer. I'll second that.
All in
It's
favor?
always safer to put the gas in when it's cold. Yeah. I'll second that.
Okay.
All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Okay. We done with maintenance?
Uh,
All right, we're on to, Wyndham Land Trust.
I haven't had an update from Michael.
Oh, it
Neither
doesn't
have
look like
I.
we skipped
We
over
were told
the other
sometime
grant
this
updates
month.
too.
I thought that was covered. I was gonna ask you later about the grant.
Yeah, and too.
Yes, well,
Contest.
the reason that you haven't seen anything about it is that we were not selected as a finalist. It was
I was afraid
somebody,
of that.
it was somebody who knew, yeah, if we had been selected as a finalist, you all
Yeah.
would have
You
been,
said you were gonna be out there, so.
yeah, I checked at 7 o'clock in the morning while I was on vacation on the
Thank you.
Kubota website. So, no, we were not selected. And the other projects certainly look worthy. I mean, it was a national thing. We had a good application.
Yeah.
They didn't pick it up. No big deal. So I did want to let you guys know that. And we are still waiting on notification from the SIF grant. That'll be the end of September. When I came back from vacation, I did have an email sitting in my inbox asking for some clarification on some points on the application. So that always, I think, is a
Which
good
is that?
sign. That's the redoing Main Street, finishing the reno on 65 Main and doing Swanson Park and the other little.
I saw it's on the Board of Selectmen's updated agenda. What are they discussing about it? That's what I was gonna say too. Did you hear something about that one?
No, all DECD grants, at least all big ones, require a certified resolution from the Board of Selectmen or whatever the appropriate body is, essentially affirming that the town at large wishes to apply for the grant. I attached a resolution to our application, but apparently I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed the one that we had to do for the playground money, and I couldn't find the one anywhere. I looked in the minutes, and I know that they did it because I looked at it in my hand and scanned it to myself, but apparently promptly lost it. So
This just replaces that.
it's
so
just
the
replacing that.
Application's all legal.
Yeah. It's just,
But that grant not impacting any other trail stuff.
except in as far as it may contribute to the development of the 65 Main site, but that's really the congressional award that's going to cover that more. And that one is, still pending final confirmation, but that's the one that Congressman Courtney passed up. So in practice, those get awarded, those earmark projects. It's just a matter of how quickly they get through their processes. So I just wanted to, because it is tangentially related to things that we're doing, I wanted to let you guys know that's out there still.
Okay, so we're on to events. Community Day, October 5th. I'm gonna be there as the representative for Last Green Valley. So, you know,
Well, I was just gonna reiterate what we said last time, is that Trails is not gonna have a booth because
yes,
everybody's.
well, I was
doing
gonna say, if you
something
wanna leave
else.
something, because I'll be there
So-
with the Last Green Valley, John's agreed to put up the tent for me.
Mhm.
And we'll have whatever, I mean, you
Okay.
know,
No,
I
that's
can't
great.
put up the tent all alone, I know that, you know, so John's gonna.
So if
put up-
we do t-shirts, I'll ask Brian, have them with the rec. stuff.
What's that?
If, for the t-shirts, I'll ask Brian to have them. That's also, I mean, that's the only other thing that we would really be doing.
Yeah,
so.
it's so they can go all in that
Yeah.
one tent, you know, and if you got the Z maps, you know, any of that stuff, we'll put it in there.
We do have more Z maps coming too.
Okay,
The district did decide to do another small run for any of the participating towns who wanted to. So they're ordering 2,000 units per town, but they're retaining half of them so that they can do things like bring them to the Big E and whatever. So those, I think the final approval for that reprint, those emails went back and forth today with the Z Card company, so there will be more, and there was one swap out since Drafters is up for sale. I swapped out the photograph of the server from Drafters with the COVID mask on for a new picture from the new brewery, so,
Nice.
but that was our only change.
okay, so October Cemetery Walk.
I have a question about that. Is there a limit to how many people are going to be able to go to this?
See, personally, I would have said yes, but
I
that's
think
not my
the
call.
answer is yes. Talking to Joe,
Yeah,
he said what he would like to do is have it by like invitation, you gotta sign up and go. I mean, people are gonna show up, you're not, you know, they're gonna.
Yeah.
Anyway, but,
yeah,
so that's what he's hoping to do.
How many?
I don't know, 100 maybe. I don't know.
That's big.
Well, that's about
October
what we
is after
had.
printers, so if it's already in there, that's a good thing. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
if they're gonna have a limited amount
Yeah.
of people, and they've already made that known, that's good.
I doubt, I don't know.
I didn't put it in.
I haven't talked to Amanda, she put it,
I missed the
she
meeting
would have
too.
put it in.
Well, Amanda's
So-
been
Wednesday.
I
out,
was sick.
and
so
but she should be
maybe-
back next week, from what I understand.
Instead of it be delayed. Having a meeting.
Well, maybe
Okay,
somebody
so that's
talk to
new
Joe.
information to me.
maybe somebody talk to Joe,
Or maybe they,
you know, because I mean, you can't have, you know, 100 people and hear the speaker, you know. I mean, I think we've got a portable setup now,
Mhm.
I'm
but
not
it's
sure.
not really portable, it's.
Well, but Joe had ordered something for the last one, but it didn't come in time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
which was a portable one.
yeah.
I don't know if you got it,
I don't think they got the right thing.
but Brian was going to order.
I was at
something else
some
to
meeting,
go
and I
with
don't know if it was this committee or something down in rec where somebody was
was
gonna
gonna
order a
order-
lavalier setup.
it. Yeah, Brian.
What's that?
A lavalier is a
Oh,
lapel mic, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Turkey Trot.
Well, just playing off the cemetery thing, it's not really a trails thing, but with Beth contacting me today regarding the dedication and plaque for Jacobs Cemetery. Rob Wood has been very busy all summer. He's calming down a little bit this week. He's getting with me today, this week, Thursday or Friday, to see the plaque, and he's gonna fabricate the thing to mount it to the gate. And it's also in his, up to his decision, I'm not using words well tonight, how he wants to do this, if he wants to make this a big deal with just his family or whatever when we dedicate the plaque. But just thought I'd bring that up as part of the cemetery thing. Turkey
okay.
Trot, there's really not much going on. We had our first meeting, Peter Lusa, myself, Ryan Levency, And Chelsea, who is now our person from Teague since Joanne Chanel is retiring or has retired.
Has retired
Uh,
officially.
Joanne will still help out. Her husband will still be our turkey. That was very important. Chelsea's already arranging to get the turkeys, so she's stepping right in and she's already looking at her volunteers. So that's always a big part of what we need is the Teague volunteers. So that's moving forward. We have confirmation, written or verbal, from all of our title sponsors at $750 and up, except for the title sponsor itself, because Brian just reached out to them last week, so we don't have confirmation from Centerville. I'm sure that won't be a problem. I hope it's not a problem. So all the others are in place. We've started receiving checks, maybe 5 or 6. He realized when he sent out the letter that he didn't put a due date, but most people know, so he'll be following up on that. So far, everyone who's donated has donated at the same levels of last year, except my, and I hate to talk about financials on such a bad day of Wall Street, but my options firm, Zega Financial, doubled their sponsorship from $250 to $500 this year, so that was really nice of them.
Oh, nice.
So there's not much else going on. I'm gonna start, hopefully this week with the bad weather, doing at least a few, in-person visits to try to get a few new sponsors. And yes, we are struggling a bit from Amanda being out, because that puts an awful lot on Brian's, table to try to deal with, so. Doing what we can. We are, going back to Community Day. We talked about, the event up there with the new track, and I'm going to take advantage of that to be promoting the turkey trot when people are going up and checking out the track, having saved the dates up there. Hopefully this year I will volunteer again at Tackle the Trail, and Peter, I think, said he's the one who said he was running Tackle the Trail this year himself, so we'll have representation there. I did miss out on the Run for Ryan because I was in Chicago during that event this year, so we did not do any save the dates there. And that's about it for now. We have meetings scheduled for September.
Do you know the date?
I don't have it with me. I think he avoided the Wednesdays for you. Yeah, I don't remember the date off the top.
As long as it isn't a Wednesday, Wednesday's training night. so-
Actually, it might be the 22nd, because he said the 23rd, and I'm going to see Electric Light Orchestra the 23rd. So, because he said, I think he said the 22nd or 23rd, so.
22nd is a Sunday, 23rd is a Monday,
Maybe it's the day after the 24th.
24th is a
Maybe it's the
Tuesday.
24th, yeah. What? They never play. It's not the real, it's Jeff Lindsay yellow, and I was lucky enough to get a ticket to TD Garden for that. So it's exciting. It's on one of my bucket list bands to see.
Mhm.
And they're never gonna play here again. Yes.
Okay, so we're on.
Not Tom Waits, I grant you that, but.
He's definitely never touring again. I'm the best you'll be able to do about that.
Okay, so we're on to social media, PR, outreach, maps, brochures, and flyers.
So as I mentioned, the district is ordering more Z maps. And I will be bringing some Z maps to the Mystic Outdoor Arts Festival this Saturday. We're gonna get rained on, that goes rain or shine, and I staff the district in doing a shift
I
at the
usually go
district
with
tent. And I'll bring some, if we haven't received the others, to the Biggie, if we haven't received them by then, although I expect we will. I'm also on a committee, speaking of the cemetery tour, we are starting to develop a new brochure, which may sort of morph into almost like an events blog on oddities and curiosities in the Eastern District. So things like the self-guided cemetery tour map that the Historical Society and the Conservation Commission worked on, regular events once the Trainwreck Memorial Park is developed, the story of Mr. Rath. So there'll be a paper, a glossy paper brochure that will come out of it, but also at least what we're talking about now is having, again, sort of this rolling updatable blog page that lives somewhere on CT Visit and the district's information. Very preliminary. I was in my first meeting on it the week before I went out on vacation. It's a small group of us from the marketing committee working on it. So if anything that sort of occurs to anybody, certainly in Thompson, but even in the wider region, that would fit into that sort of oddities and curiosities category, and Fran's on that. So we were talking about like,
Doesn't mean I'd ever hear a word about it.
well, indeed, but so we were talking about like the Bat Watch events during the warm weather, you know, that's like a regular thing that would fit into that, or the Natural History Museum over at Yukon. So if, you know, there's things like that that occur to you, let me know so I can bring it to that committee.
I don't know if it's helpful. I'm looking for the name of one of the groups I follow. It's- yeah, they post historical photos of things around Connecticut all week long. And a lot of people contribute with those photos, if it's an old house or something, with history, and there's things that come up about whether this particular site is haunted. They brought up things like the Belden Corticelli Mill and.
So
and there's things
an
like that
important
in town.
distinction, yeah, an important distinction that we've landed on is not to include anything that isn't actually safe or publicly open. Because if you go, for example, Atlas
Oh.
Obscura, which is
Right.
a great site, there's nobody really confirming that those places are open. So there are a couple, there's like a spot in Pomfret, I forget what it's called, that apparently has, no, it was a different, Bara, I can't remember. It was an unusual name, but it's on somebody's private property, and yet somebody has posted on Atlas Obscura that this is an interesting ghost story. So yeah, we wouldn't
they
put Belden
usually-
Corticelli on that because it's not safe to be there.
They usually do include that, they're very big on being upfront about what is public and what isn't, and that we shouldn't go where you're not supposed to go. Some people still do and publish those pictures, but they also don't reveal where it was, because they know they're trespassing.
Right, you know, for example, for many years, we talked about possibly getting the hermit
Yeah,
shed
right.
open to the public, but it is not open to the public, so that is not something that we would promote or call attention to. So that's, you know, there's your distinction.
But just Connecticut.
I have a question,
Just,
Tara.
just
Um,
Eastern Connecticut,
All right,
the
but
Eastern
like
Regional
stuff
Tourism
in
District.
Dudley Webster we wouldn't do. No.
Tara,
Yes,
Uh,
Charlie.
you mentioned the Science Museum at Yukon, but at Fort Hill Farm, they regularly have a guy with a pretty good telescope. And you can look at whatever's up there to be seen. And also the corn maze, and also they do have live music, and that's kind of a curious thing, but perhaps, I don't think they know how to tie into the Tourism Bureau, because I've gone to several things up there and very light turnouts. Nobody seemed to know about it. Just a
So the
thought.
way CT Visit is set up, and this is not unlike most websites that promote a lot of events, the onus is really on the presenter to go in, enter their events, because otherwise there's just too much, right? CT Visit's the entire state of Connecticut, so you gotta go.
Yeah.
So there is definitely a bandwidth issue for, you know, smaller organizations, which in terms of being a tourist attraction, I would say Fort Hill Farms is a smaller organization. They don't have like a tourism coordinator on staff.
Yeah.
It's just the family. So that is an inherent weak spot in the CT Visit website, but that is open to anybody, much as, you know, you could send in an event to the Walktober guide or the Spring Outdoors guide. It still falls on the organization to get that information in.
I understand that. I just, when you mentioned whatever it was you mentioned, I thought, man, Kais could use some of this linkage into these things, because I haven't talked to her about it. I just noticed that people perform live music there and nobody shows up.
Well, that's kind of a problem with live music everywhere,
Yeah,
regardless of where it is. But you know,
Yeah.
it's not a bad point, Charlie. It's just that, you know, saying those things to the people in this room isn't gonna get that listed on CT Visit. It's gotta be, you know, mentioned to Kais or to Kristen or somebody else who, you know, has those details and the, you know, is motivated to promote the events. I mean,
You would know who they
Kais
have
is a
to reach.
dairy farmer. She's not an events promoter.
I understand, but you know who she would have to get in touch with her write-up. So
Yeah.
I see linkage. I always do. You know, somebody suggests something and I think of somebody who was looking for that solution. So. The other thing about bike route map on this agenda item, Karen and I met with people from NECOG. They took my rough drafts that I was working on. Mostly last year I didn't ride my bike, so all of my notes were older than that. But they were able to import them onto a map, and I posted that at a few sites on Facebook so that anybody, you can click on it. It's interactive. I think there are 7 bike routes. This is a first draft. But these curiosity points that Tira's talking about, we could have them, we could locate them on that map ourselves. There's a content tab, which was not obvious the first time I opened it up. But anybody wants it, I'll send you the link. It's a very good tool. And we still haven't gotten up to Connecticut Trail Finders with it, but I think we're moving in the right direction. And that map would potentially update side 2 of the Z-fold map the next time we're going to go out for a major revision.
So I have a question, Charlie, because that map only showed up Sunday, but the email came in July. Have you
I don't
talked,
understand.
have you talked to NECOG since you saw the map?
I exchanged some emails directly with David, and I pointed out last night when I looked at it, it was blank. It wasn't showing me any routes. But if you zoom in on it, then it would show you the routes. If you zoomed in enough so that the borders of the town of Thompson would not fit on your computer screen, you could see all the different color codes. But if you could see the whole town of Thompson on your computer screen, the colors disappeared. I don't know why. But there's a checklist. And if you click on any of those, like Airline Trail, it will it will remove it. And then you click again, it shows it back on. And some of my original color coding didn't come through, but he's done a good work. He's got them laying right on the roads.
Well,
I
why
don't
don't you,
mileage.
why don't you send what you have, because I saw it, I wasn't able to go through layers. I have a screenshot, which I brought, but it's not interactive, if anybody wants to see the map. I brought my computer and a screenshot of the map. But it's basically what
If I
Charlie.
could screen save, or if I could screen share, I could show it to him.
I can give you screen share. But the problem is, Charlie, we're not in the main conference room. We're on
right.
the floor, so
All
there's.
right, I'm gonna send this over to Karen, and I guess I'll copy the people whose names I've heard off of tonight's meeting, and you can look at it. It says it's the first draft, but it also has Airline Trail, Town Loop, Green Loop, Orange Route, Red Route, Quinnebog to Airline Trail, and the town. And it's good potential. Whenever we do have the green light from Wyndham Land Trust for the Boy Scout property, we can start to put together another route over there. And this map didn't show for some reason, I didn't show Bull Hill. But I did add the point on Bull Hill, and you'll see that as soon as you open this file up. So, okay. We're making progress with that. And my dream for it was to have a hard copy, but more to have electronic copies that people could load up on their phones. They could say, I'm going to park here at the town library. I'm going to go for a ride on this route. It's going to be 6 miles. It's got some hills. I'll be back here for pizza at lunchtime. That's my dream of it. And that's what, it's at our fingertips. We might as well make it happen.
Okay, well, just keep us appraised of progress. And I think what you were talking about, the oddities and curiosities, really what we want to add to this bike map is more the things like where you can stop for pizza and ice cream. And, we want to add to the, because this is a road
Bike
map.
repair station.
Bike repair station, right, yeah, so we could start making a list of those things that are the normal places when you're biking around town on roads that you
Because
want
the
to
other
know where
things-
they are.
They maybe once a year they have something, and it's an event, it's not
No,
something
we
you
want,
want to go to.
right, we
It's
want the
there all the time.
regular stuff, or
Something-
here's the trailhead, what you're, to a trail from your biking around town. So we'll have to add a lot of stuff to that, probably, yeah.
Okay, so we're on to reports from neighboring towns.
I haven't heard anything from Putnam.
Nor have I. This isn't a,
Dudley, I know Todd, their rail trail.
Yeah,
We
And
talked
Dudley.
about
And
it.
people were on it and asking when Connecticut was ever gonna catch up.
I know.
I assume that is the section that we talk about every
Yeah.
2 months that is never, ever, ever going to be
Yeah.
developed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Not in my lifetime.
And not as long as there's people living 10
Right,
feet from
right.
where it passes. There's no way. That would create so much hostility toward the project that it would never be worth it. Not a report from a neighboring town, but it doesn't really fit in anywhere else. I probably should have mentioned it under correspondence. So when I logged into my email, Judy Rondo, who is the chair of conservation, is looking to meet with Meg Washburn, the new, conservation agent and wetlands officer, and myself about putting together a sustainable CT team. Technically, we have been enrolled in this sustainable CT
Right,
program all along, but we've never been certified because it's been a sustainable CT team of one, me, and I haven't had any bandwidth to pursue it. So who knows why you get their emails?
Yeah, them too.
Yeah,
Judy Rondo is still with Connecticut?
no,
She's with Matt.
she's with Mass DEP, but she is the chair of our conservation commission. She lives here in town.
Oh,
So
I-
when the summer fellows reached out to me earlier this year, I connected them to Meg to say, if the Conservation Commission is looking for a project, because it seems to me like they are looking for something, to sort of hang their hats on, this would be an excellent thing, because it's a commission that meets monthly. They can, go over their checklist every month. But anyway, so Judy wants to meet this week or next week with me and Meg and asked if there is interest from other commissions and departments to participate. And so
Meg's what, the wetlands?
wetlands conservation, yeah, it's a combined position now. So Karen, if you would like to be a part of that, or, anybody else about discussing how to actually make it a real push to sort of complete some of the sustainability activities and get the certification and all that, let me know and I'll loop you in on that email. Because I've always liked their program, but with just me working on it in dribs and drabs, I wait until the fellows get in touch with me every summer and I say, well, these are all the things that we've done. Can you update our application? And last year there wasn't even a fellow embedded at NECOG, and And actually, there wasn't a fellow embedded at NECOG this year either. It was a fellow from CCOG who reached out to us. Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments. So it was their summer interns, which they call fellows, who reached out. Now, they're almost done for the year, but Judy and Meg are now sort of taking this on. So I certainly think Trails has a role there, if Trails wants to have a role there. We've done plenty. If I really did have the time to go through their entire checklist and update the application, we've probably either
Everything.
completed or gotten
I mean,
on
wasn't
our,
Carolyn working? No?
she may have been at one time. I'm sure that she and I spoke about it, you know, early when I first came on. So we'll see, you know,
Okay.
it looks good for the town. Supports grant application, you know, there's different reasons that it has value to do it. One is the completing of the activities themselves, right? Because every activity that you complete is moving you sort of down the road to having either a greener or more economically resilient or whatever community. And then sort of the patina that it gives things like other grant applications. You know, it's very supportive of that. Sustainable CT has done a nice job of raising their own profile across the state with organizations like CCM and CT Deep. So, you know, it all kind of works together. So I'll loop you in on that response tomorrow then. Okay. Okay.
Connecticut Trail Census calibration?
I don't think we've gotten past what, you didn't do any, right? So, and I didn't, the weather's been weird and I've been weird, so. I don't think that, I don't think we, Charlie, I don't think we're, we still have our we're halfway there. So maybe this fall, if they're not closing the parking lot, people are still using it, we can get our last 5 hours done.
Okay, equipment, tool status, maintenance, you did that already?
Talked about that.
Okay, we're on to new agendas for future meetings.
So does anybody have anything else burning that needs to be in the selectmen's update? I mean, we can't, you know, we're not telling them we've put in the bike things yet, the bike stations, and so I'll just do
I mean, you could certainly say that they've been received and that you can expect to see
well,
one
then
installed in
I'd rather
Mechanicsville.
not until it happens, because. You know, these things only,
When's the next update after this is quarterly or by?
it's every 6 months. So
Yeah,
it's
twice
not a year, so
So
we
it's
could,
not gonna happen again until after the trail work starts, so you could still talk about. That we're excited over the train rent park work and things are gonna start in November, cause that's going to be before the next update.
Even though they're not actually building it yet, they're starting. That's important.
Well, they will, yeah, they're gonna be starting the site work, so
It's been a long road, yeah.
in early November, at this point, there's gonna be,
Is that
Clearing
all
done
it
up
is?
there.
It's not being done out of town budget. Other than using the ARPA money to get the grants. Because you know how people in town are, don't spend our money.
That was a comment on the Dudley trails too, was the amount of money spent on paving a trail to nowhere.
Mhm.
'Cause they just kind of dead end.
Oh, yeah, at Limehouse Road, yes. Yeah. And the same, is at the other end is at Mill Road in Dudley. Yeah.
And I'm just an innocent bystander because I don't live in either town,
Yeah,
but,
but that's also, that was state money, not even town money,
right.
Hmm.
but it ends in Webster too, it just stops, because there's no connection there. I prefer the stone dust, not gonna lie.
Mhm. It's easy to
Well, I
walk
think,
on.
yeah, well, I think once you pave it, you have to stop equestrian use of it. 'Cause
Right.
then
Hmm.
You've got manure all over the place and.
We talked about, I think,
Potholes or something that how you gonna fix that if it's dirt, you can always fill dirt.
And that's what I found with Farmington Canal Trail, the Southington part was new when I lived there, but I rode my bike up to Farmington and the trail up there was already in bad shape from roots growing through it and water damage, and of course, they put it down, then there's no maintenance money to take care of it.
I think the stone dust is held up
Yeah, I
pretty
think
good
the
on.
stone.
That's
Been laid
considering the
down.
lack of maintenance.
You have an issue, just run a blade through it.
Mhm.
No big deal, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's been pretty good. I mean, even
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately with a lot of motorized sometimes, but it's overall pretty good. It's not bad, except for the washout, and that is what it is. I mean, you ain't stopping water. You change path with the.
And I rode my road bike on that stone dust. When it was in better shape, but
Be nice.
a good stone dust surface is just as good as pavement if you're walking, biking, and you can use it for your own.
Just needs to finish.
Somebody needs to kill all the gnats and stuff. It was so nice going to Chicago and not having any bugs. I can't walk out in my yard without being attacked. The closer you get to the trail, the worse it is.
Go there in January, there'll be no bugs.
You know, that's because you live in a,
The woods in the
Yeah.
country, yes.
right,
I
Okay,
get to see all those pretty fireflies.
that's right.
no further? I don't have anything else.
It's reminding you guys that we've got 2 more planning meetings for 65 Main. So the fourth Wednesday of the month, which off the top of my head, I cannot remember, the 28th, August 28th, I think.
Oh, it's right up here.
Oh, it's right there. Look at that. Good call.
But what your next meetings are really don't have anything to do with the trail.
Definitely not this next one, but if anybody wants to, contribute to sort of the discussion about the operations of the facility itself, but what we are talking about for the last one, the September one, is just doing a big recap, like sort of how we did a big rah-rah to open it, doing a big rah-rah to close it, showing the plans on the screen again, sort of giving the outline, and then, of course, the last 6 months, it's me writing the plan with the other partners. But to keep that sort of enthusiasm high.
I stopped replying to you. I still want the messages, but I have Wednesday nights.
I know Wednesdays are a problem for you.
Stuff. I stopped just saying, oh, it's fire truck. I'm like.
That's
she
okay.
knows.
I know.
Send my regrets at this time because I'll be in Kentucky for the caravan, so.
Kentucky.
Tell us how the bugs are there.
But anyway, if anybody does plan on attending, email me as usual so that I can buy enough pizza. But yeah, even if you can't
I
make
just go with pizza.
the August one, the September one, I would like to have another sort of robust.
It would be nice, when it's
Attendance.
worthwhile with more people there in person, there's better discussion, even if you have them in other meetings, you could pop in, and just see what's going on. I recommend it. You can.
I've enjoyed the ones I went to.
I know Wednesdays are a tough night for you. And the input has been consistently good, so. Yeah. It is 3 minutes past 8 o'clock.
Meeting adjourned?
Holy cow.
Holy cow.
I'd be perfectly happy to take a short meeting, guys. You guys are cutting into my Olympics viewing.
Well, that's what I'm saying too, going, Olympics, come on.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Meeting
I've
adjourned.
sent that link to everybody whose voice I recognized tonight, and you can look at it. It's interactive. It's pretty good.
Charlie. Charlie should have the whole committee's email in the Zoom link email.
Oh, man, thanks.
Okay, guys, good night.
So bumming, I didn't see till later today that they were doing the kayak thing. They
That's
described,
awesome.
they described it